This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Find all my work at mjmunoz.com. Visit the podcasts page for show notes and links. Remember to like, share, and comment to help me grow. This is Swinging Through Comics, episode 71, You Don't Know What I Can Do. I am analyzing Radiant Black, issue 5, Aftermath, which originally was released, I was going to say aired, I've been doing a lot of shows, which was originally released June 16th, 2021. The writer is Kyle Higgins. The artists for the book were Marcelo, Costa, and Eduardo Ferigato. The colorist is Natalia I don't know if that's Marques. The letter is Becca, Carey, and the cover that I have, which you should be seeing, is by Doaly. Doaly. Doaly? I'm not sure what the name is. I'm not familiar with the work, but, fair. The cover's a lie, because none of this stuff pops up in the book, really. Except it makes Marshall look like a punk who was arrested as a kid, which would give him a problem with authority, and maybe like his dad left him and he's into heroes and such. So I don't know, kind of interesting. Anyway, moving right into the analysis. I'm going to start off with my negative stuff real quick. Radiant Wraith's costume, minor continuity issues regarding the end of issue 4 and the start of issue 5, and then dialogue. So that's what I didn't like this episode or had problems with, and I will explain. Radiant Wraith, or Wraith, whatever, is the name that I'm giving to the character who pops up at the end. The he who's going to kill them all and who's going to destroy the planet. I don't know what else to call this character right now. They're wearing, their body is black except for a few, I guess that's armor. Bits of armor, like vambraces or arm, sorry. I don't know what you call a vambrace or a cote besides those two things, because I researched them for a character design I was doing like 10 years ago, and it's never never gotten out of my head. 4 arm bands. That's what he's got. 4 arm bands, a couple of swords, which look like katanas, which they shouldn't if he's an alien, right? Looks like he's got a couple of guns on him too, like a double holstered thing on his right side, and then like a hoodie or a hood thing that's draped on him with like some straps and whatever. Anyway, so that guy, he's Radiant Wraith. Why is he called Radiant Wraith? Well, on the reveal panel, you just see his legs materializing in these hexagons, and then on the next page, he's glitchy like a TikTok video effect, and he's got all these hexes on him, and he seems to be materializing into existence. So either he, and even his voice is not quite there. It's kind of faded and distorted and coming through. So anyway, he seems like a ghostly type of figure, and he's killing planets. So I'm going with Radiant Wraith for now. Anyway, I don't like his design. I don't like his costume. I don't like the hood. It just doesn't work for me. Like, I don't know. I guess he's supposed to have a cape. Like the hood could be made of a scarf wrapped around him, and maybe the white part of his body is a asymmetrical white panel on the costume, and it's not draping fabric there. Although maybe it is, looking at him a little closer. It's hard to tell, but I don't like it. And like, is his face all black, or is that a color distortion red slash on his face? Or is that a color distortion red slash on his face, or is that part of the costume? I don't quite know. Like, I'm okay with them keeping him a little obscure for this appearance, especially if he's supposed to be more of a unique design. But I mean, I don't know, why not just show it all? Why obscure it so much, I guess, in this first appearance? That kind of doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, that's my complaining about Radiant Wraith's costume, and that's why I'm calling him Radiant Wraith, which I will do until we get a name. I hope it's not just the Radiant, because that wouldn't make sense. Anyway, minor continuity issues between the end of issue 4 and the beginning of issue 5. So we see, of course, this is full spoilers, right? Right? Yeah, we're good. So we see Nathan being worked on, and after the building crushed him, and Marshall, watches him get into the ambulance, but apparently he already has the Radiant Black power. It's already been given to him, because when we see him, because he flies away, and then he eventually joins him at the hospital. So despite the fact that he's not completely dead, he's mostly dead, Nathan is, and I guess that's why the Radiant Black power pops out of him. But it just seemed kind of odd. It was a little disconcerting, or Yeah, it was weird. He had this time. So I'm watching Ultraman Z right now. It's almost done. Whenever Haruki, the main character who becomes Ultraman Z, enters this weird space-time dimension thing, like, he can spend as much time as he wants in there, I guess, because the space-time flows differently, and he doesn't have to worry about things happening over here while he's in there for a while. So is that what happened? He touched the orb, and when he got the power radiant, he connected with this, radiant robot or whatever, and it kind of froze time, and he got to have an interaction with it, brain to brain or whatever. Maybe, I'm not sure. It's hard to say, but it felt weird. It felt off-putting. Moving on to the last thing, some of the dialogue was clunky. I also thought it was goofy as hell that he put his we got a sound effect for palm as he shoved his hand in the cop's face and ran past him to go get Nathan. That was kind of odd. Anyway, but some of the dialogue was odd. Not so much his conversation with Radiant Red, although there were bits in that I didn't like him joking about oh, I didn't even get to try out my new cape mode. I don't know, would you really be joking about that right now? I know you're kind of a jackass, but it seemed off. And then when Radiant Yellow and Purple came in, I thought that was kind of kludgy dialogue. Not the legit, you're in legit danger. That's fine. But, hey, sorry, really, seriously, don't ever show up anywhere uninvited. But you're in legit danger. What does that mean? Really don't, we really seriously don't ever show up anywhere uninvited? Or I never, I could see if it was it's a personal ethic of mine to never show up uninvited, or I seriously hate showing up uninvited, but you're in legit danger. That would work more. I mean, the "but you're in legit danger" works, but hey, sorry, really, seriously, don't ever show up anywhere uninvited. I don't know, it just was weird. And maybe it's realistic dialogue, but sometimes realistic dialogue doesn't sound good, and it's jarring, and it doesn't need to be, especially because it can take people out of the moment. So, anyway, that's all my negative stuff for this issue. Moving on to the positive, the maelstrom of loss, the fight, the others, and the common threat. Those are my positives, and I'll explain. So the maelstrom of loss is just Marshall going through this whole cycle. He's pleading with God that he'll go to church and be a good boy if only Nathan can survive. He's angry. He has a murderous intent towards Radiant Red. He's feeling it, so he's so desperate at the idea that Nathan is lost, and it's I don't know if it's his fault or not, but that Nathan is lost, and even dealing with his parents, that hard reality, that hard circumstance to be in of facing your best friend's parents when he's dying, and most certainly going to be dead, or he's brain dead in a coma. It seems. That's so terrible, and I really felt it, and him flying off, and I thought he was going to throw up, but then he ends up suiting up and then flying off after realizing that Nathan really is in deep trouble, and he's getting carried away in the ambulance. So anyway, I thought that was really good. I'll talk over that loud vehicle. The fight between Marshall and Radiant Red was really good. Very exciting. I loved seeing him pulling out all these tricks. I loved seeing her pulling out all these tricks. It was super dope. It looked good. It was so dynamic, so fluid. There were a couple things where I checked back to a previous panel to see if it made sense, and it did, and I liked what I saw, so that was good. Maybe there was one time that it didn't really make sense. I guess when he punched her, when he decked her the first time and sent her really maybe it was the second time. Yeah, I think he blasted her first, and they were flying at each other. Anyway, he ends up decking her after she gets up off the floor, and she flies, and there's a big kaboom, and she flies through parts of the kaboom, which is actually a really cool detail I just noticed through that. She flies through the bottom of the B and the O of the kaboom, which is pretty dope. So it's like the letters are three-dimensionally spaced, and she flies through them as he whacks her. But there's a red spiral around her, which doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know, is she giving off fumes or dust or whatever? That doesn't make sense. I see that it's a convention of the comics so far that they'll glow with a red, or with an aura of white when they're activating their gravitational powers or whatever. But the red smoke type thing circling around her doesn't really make sense unless, is that supposed to be her like spiraling as she's flying? I don't know. That doesn't read well to me. But the rest of the fight is really, really good. And like I said, that going through the B and the O of the kaboom, that's pretty fabulous. So I like that. I'm gonna have to share that with some people. So the others, so Radiant Purple and Yellow popping in. I thought that was pretty cool. I have a couple things to say about them. I like that there's an older guy, and I can't tell how young Radiant Purple, I think, is she purple or pink? Maybe she's supposed to be magenta, I don't know. But anyway, I can't tell how old she's supposed to be, 20-something probably. And then this guy, I mean, he's got gray hair. He looks like he's probably supposed to be 50 or, late 40s or something like that. But they look cool. I'm interested to learn more about them, for sure. And it's interesting how different their suits are. Like red and magenta or whatever, they have similar distribution of the colors on their suits, but like yellow is very different. He's got all this color up on his shoulders that red doesn't have, and pink doesn't have, and neither does white, or I guess Radiant Black, technically Marshall. He doesn't have that same panel layout of color on him. And I just like that, the guys, he's older than the girls, a 20-something. She's got, the funny, like, anime. I always think of anime when I see buns like that. But, she looks like a young Latina, and he's an older black gentleman. So it'll be interesting to see how they play with these couple of honkies here in Marshall and whoever Radiant Red is. I hope that race isn't like a huge thing, but it'd be interesting to see some of the different cultural background that they come into this with, and see how it would play. So that's cool. But also a more important thing about that than what they look like is it looked like the two of them were coming in from someplace sunny. There's a skyscraper, and it's sunny through the portal that it looks like pink, purple, whatever magenta has opened. So can they open portals? It sure looks like it. And were they on the other side of the world? And is that the kind of power that's going to be on display with Radiant Black? I don't know. That's interesting. But I like the idea of that. But anyway, they look cool, and they seem interesting, other than the fact that they had some kludgy dialogue, which I hope doesn't return. The last thing is the common threat. I do like how powerful Radiant Wraith is, and what a threat he is to them. And the two of them were saying, Yellow and Magenta, whatever, were saying that they were barely able to stay ahead of him, and they were having a very tough time, and that they don't think they can beat him. And then I think he slashes at both of them pretty quickly. Actually, he hits all four of them when he pops up, and it's weird because he's able to slash them somehow while he's not fully corporeally there. So he knocks them out, and then he fully materializes and then stands as a threat to them. So I'm surprised that we're getting... for some reason I thought they were going to end up teaming up for some other reason, but I guess it's just he's here now, and they've got to deal with him. So that's interesting, and that'll be fun to see what happens. I wanted to take some time to reflect a little bit on their powers. We don't really understand the nature of their powers. They have gravitational powers, but it seems like the magenta, purple, whatever, was able to open up a dimensional vortex or portal or wormhole or whatever, which I like the idea of being able to do that with gravitational powers. I think that's pretty cool, and like I said, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what she did. So they have that, but then Red has this ability to transmute matter into armor stuff on her suit, which she turns into like this cool tank form, which looks pretty dope. But that's interesting. The tank comes from when she's in the water. Did she suck up some H2O and convert it into that armor? If so, that's pretty cool. Or maybe it was the ice. I don't know how solid the matter needs to be, but all matter is matter. Even plasma, solid, liquid, gas. Those are all different forms of matter. So I guess it doesn't really matter what she's pulling on as long as it's something. She could potentially convert air around her into stuff too. Maybe just the rate of the rate of conversion or transmutation would be a lot slower. She'd have to suck up so much air versus like a pencil or a piece of clay or some ground or gravel or whatever. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays in the future. And then like Marshall says, and it's my quote for this review, you don't know what I can do, or you don't know what I can do, because he's pretty sure he can take the Radiant Wraith, which I doubt so far, but I don't know. I'm assuming they'll overcome him, with the fact that there's 4 of them now as opposed to just 2. And then, that's kind of all I want to say for now on that, on talking about their different powers. But I do want to talk about Radiant Red. So Radiant Red is a lady. Radiant Red has never looked like a lady before. I'm going to go back, because I have the comic in front of me, to the page when he finds her, and she's punching, stuff in the, yard or whatever. She has a very manly-looking physique. Her lines are very sharp. She's got, like, these rib lines. I don't know what you call those muscles on your side there, but she's kind of like these rib lines. And, not a feminine-looking physique. She can be buff, and I'm not, complaining or saying, it's not getting me excited enough. She's not alluring enough, but, like, definitely looks like a dude here. Even in one of the panels where she's getting socked around, like, she's got a dude's chest. And I find that interesting. I have no problem with sexually ambiguous characters or androgynous characters, really. Like Radiant Magenta, she's definitely, got a female physique. But then after, it's funny, if you look at the panels, after Red's reveal, or it's revealed that Red is a female, a woman, you can see that the style that she's drawn in changes. And I haven't counted pages, but Eduardo and Francisco, or is that the Ultraman comic book? Hold on. And Marcelo, I'm sorry. Marcelo and Eduardo kind of trade off, and it says, like, the last, like, pages 28 through 32 are drawn by somebody else, and I wonder if that's what I'm seeing here. It's a difference in drawing style, but, I mean, she looks different. The character model is different. She looks definitely way more feminine, and I just kind of find that interesting. I find that to be kind of a cheat. I kind of don't like it, but I'm going to put up with it for now. Like, I made an androgynous character who has gravity powers and flies around and stuff, Darkstar, or the Crusher. She has 2 names. And she also started off as a villain. This is super interesting. But she had, picture the 6th Ranger, the Green Ranger, like the chest armor thing he had on him. She had a shield chest armor thing like that, and it bulked her up and hid her, the rest of her features, and, the rest of the armor was designed in such a way where it's not skin tight, so you couldn't really tell. So that's kind of interesting to me. As somebody who likes this kind of idea for a character to hide their femininity and then have it be revealed at some point, maybe. I don't ever plan on drawing Darkstar as anything other than a woman who has an androgynous, suit that hides some of her, femininity. But they changed the look of Radiant Red here, and I guess that's kind of what I'm highlighting. So I just find that interesting. So I want to know, did the Radiant Red reveal work for you? And do you think Nathan will ever come back? And if he did, how would that work? I want to know, because I don't think he will. I'm answering my question. I don't think he will, and I already told you what I thought about the Radiant Red reveal. It was a little less enthralled with it, but it is interesting. What I want to know is she somebody that Marshall and Nathan knew, and if not, how'd she find out that information on them? Although, given the issue, oh no, that's issue 7, isn't it? Hold on, is it? Hold on, let me look in the preview. No, issue 6 is supposed to, the title of it is Red, so we should be learning more about her. But again, on the cover for that, she looks very manly, very bulky, but if she's converting mass around her to disguise herself and look more like a man, that's cool. That definitely works for me. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Is this issue a recommend? I would say yes. While the cliffhanger ending didn't impress me, I am invested in finding out more about this Radiant Wraith and seeing how the others survive this encounter. I assume strength in numbers helps. We know so little about the power Radiant that it is hard to conjecture on it. Marshall has to survive to see what will happen to Nathan and if there is any hope of saving him. It'd be nice to get to know the others as well. So there's a lot to look forward to. This issue was entertaining and planted seeds I would like to see grow and blossom. And actually, there are covers out for the other issues already, but I would almost like it if if issue 6 was red, if issue 7 was yellow, and then if issue 8 would be magenta or purple or whatever that is, whatever color that's supposed to be that I can't quite tell, and then we could move on, because I'm assuming it's going to delve into her backstory, and I'd even be fine if they didn't actually fight the Wraith until after we as an audience got to have all their backstory first. because that could be kind of cool, kind of fun. Cun. That's what I was gonna say. Cool and fun is cun. Oh well, maybe I should change it to fool. They're both bad. Never mind. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up, and yeah, I've gone on for a little bit too long, so. Thank you for your time and attention. I hope you enjoyed this. Check out my growing collections of analysis, art, and fiction. You can also visit mjmunoz.com/support to check out my latest designs and more. I welcome critique to improve my craft, so don't hold back any comments you have for me. I leave you with peace and blessings. This is MJ signing out. And don't forget to go to the bottom of the show notes and check out the featured design of the week. There should be a new design every week. I'm putting those through Redbubble. You can put it on a binder, on a notebook, on a cup, on a shirt, on a sticker. I try to optimize it to have my designs work for everything. And check it out. Judge for yourself, what form factor you like best, and get it. Stickers are good because that's a low investment for you, but I get a lot of money. I think stickers are the most bang for your buck on Redbubble, unless you're going to sell an art print for like $100 or something and you jack up the price. Because you can do that, but there's defaults to that. So if you like my work and want to help me keep doing more of it, you can buy a bunch of stickers, I guess. Anyway, I'm supposed to be already signed off. So once again, this is MJ signing out.